Wow, that was a hell of an animal break. Hey, everybody, how are you? Welcome to Alone Together Pittsburgh, Alone Together Streaming. We are here coming to you live from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, doing a little streaming show for you. We are starting off on week 21, I believe, of Alone Together, streaming of consecutive weeks nonstop coming at you. We started the show. Didn't think it was going to be going this long, but here we are. I believe we're in episode 68. Is this 68, Dave Mansfield?
69.
69. Oh, wow. So tomorrow is the big 7-0, another round number. Tonight's 69. You seem really excited about it, Dave. I'm happy. I'm happy. So we had a couple of days off from the show, about 5 days. There was about 15 or 20,000 different news cycles and lots of stuff happening, but some kind of positive news. The number of cases, of COVID cases in Allegheny County have started to fall. They went back up yesterday, but they were under 100 for 3 out of the last 4 days, and that's the first time that's happened in a couple of weeks. So let's just keep it up, everybody in Allegheny County. I don't know if we're ready to dance like Van Damme at the beginning of Breakin', but, you know, it's or in Kickboxer, but you guys can feel that. All right, so keep wearing your mask, keep doing your thing, and get ready for it. So I didn't do anything crazy over the 3 or 4 days that we were gone, but I was thinking about some things. I was thinking about this show and thinking about what we could do to make it more engaging for you, the audience. So I want to put this out to you guys right there. We have a comment section. I didn't know if you know about this. So I want you to feel free to make as many comments as you want right here. Here's a question right now from Gina Mungo. Is this whole show going to be about Pete experiencing the outdoors? Well, that's a funny question. Yes, it is, Gina. We have lots of footage. Pete took his dinghy to some rapids. Looked like those were class like 0.5 or below 1 rapids.
2 and 3, baby.
2 and 3. You were on your little inflatable dinghy. Well, it looked like you had some trouble there when you came down. You came past that little rock. And you were kind of cocky. Your feet looked you look large on that little raft. And then you came down and you came around that little rock, and it seemed like you made it. But then it was ass over teacups. What happened, Pete?
So I had a backpack that weighed about 70 pounds, and it was tied to my seat. And when I went down, the backpack popped out, and then it like threw my weight back at me. And then when I hit, I like bounced, and then. You know, it's not like a kayak; it's a pack raft, so it doesn't cut through the water. So,
I tell you what, that's because I was going to say, Pete, that wasn't like the most ragingest rapids. I mean, I'd seen harder stuff at Kennywood. Let's watch this again. Let's take this again. So there you are at the top. Let's talk us through this here, Pete.
So I've got the pack raft underneath me, and as I'm going down. Mm-hmm. When I hit,
I don't see a backpack. I see a life jacket.
It's under my legs.
Okay, here you go. Speaking of your legs, you look very stiff. Well, there's your leg. Oh wow, there you go. Oh wow, you're looking kind of embarrassed. Good thing for that life jacket. I felt like I was watching what was that? The River Wild? Is that the Meryl Streep movie with Kevin Bacon? I felt like you were like Meryl Streep's 6-year-old son.
So here's the thing about the pack raft. All right. The life jacket was a adult extra small, and if you've seen me in real life, you'll know that I'm a large gentleman. And
you like beer.
I like beer, and you know I don't quite fit into an extra small, so I was compressing my movement. So we went 2 days in a row. That was a Slippery Rock Creek. It was good fun. Me and my friend Crystal's house.
Yeah. All right, that's good.
Yeah, we're going to be outside.
Okay, good. Well, let's table this. We'll talk about the rest of this a little bit later on. Let's go to some other comments from the audience here. Gina, who's Chatty Cathy tonight, wants to know if I got a haircut. Yes, and also an accent. Maybe. I don't think I have an accent. I think what's happening is you're hearing a microphone. I have a new microphone, and maybe that is what you're hearing, because you're hearing a compressed version of my voice.
The annoying accent is new.
Yeah, that's I'm reading these comments. You're Amanda Blair. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you. It's annoying. Apparently, my accent is annoying, which is the same accent that I've had my whole life. So anyway,
Anyway, what are you drinking tonight, Patrick?
Right now, that's funny you should bring that up, Pete, because I'm drinking some Engine House 25 wines right now. Engine House 25 Winery, which is also a sponsor of a little thing we call the Jagoff Poll. And that's what I want to talk about right now. So Engine House,
Amanda, it hurts. I'm sorry, I'm just reading the comments coming in.
well, I know. It's a good comment. Gina's on fire tonight. It's hump day.
Well, that was Amanda. Amanda caught up on me in the last comment, if you see it there.
Oh gosh, I know. I think Gina has the best one though.
Okay.
Pete Swimmer, big man, little dinghy. That makes sense. Gina's is a little bit more like guttural, but we'll let you guys read that on the thing. I don't know. It's up to Dave if he wants to bring that one on there. So enough about that. I wanted to talk about Engine House 20. Well, I'm drinking Engine House 25 Winery. I'm drinking the cab right now. It's fantastic. If you go to eh25.com, that's the website. Engine House 25 is still doing free deliveries local, and they're doing they got wine slushies on the weekend. Go to EH25, get it going. There's about 10 different reds. There's also Chardonnay that's killer. We're talking top quality, fantastic wine. And if you tell them that you found out about Engine House 25 wines on a little thing called Alone Together Pittsburgh, you'll get $5 off per bottle, not just per case, per bottle. So if you buy a case of wine, you're looking at saving like $50. So check out Engine House 25 Winery. Tell Dwayne Patrick at Alone Together sent you. So enough about that. Engine House 25 Winery is sponsoring a thing we call the Jagoff Poll. That's right. Now, the Jagoff Poll started during March Madness. There was no March Madness, so we made our own. So what we're doing now is, if you've been following the show, we have the big Jagoff Poll, which is the overnight polls, right? We left 2 slots in our big sweets, in our 64-team bracket. The big guys are in the Sweet 16, but we left 2 slots for 4 contenders from our in-show poll. Now, what's happening now is our in-show poll, it's their time to shine. They have moved up the winner's bracket of the in-show poll to try to win their way into the big squad. Now, we had a big doozy of an overnight. It went the whole weekend. Dave, tell them about it.
Sally Wiggin versus the Pickle Pin. That's just too much for you to handle, Pittsburgh. Can you chew that? If it was a sandwich with Sally Wiggin and a pickle on it between 2 pieces of bread, could you finish that sandwich? I don't think that you could, because that sandwich would be too big, too many French fries, too much coleslaw. But you have spoken. The people have spoken, and the winner is Sally Wiggins. Kills it over the Pickle Pin. Sally Wiggins all the way to the top. Moving on the Jagoff. Sally Wiggins.
I'm not surprised. Sally Wiggin, who, she gave us one of our favorite sound bites on this show. We were talking about mask wearing. And I have no doubt.
When I walk out and there's someone without a mask and they come too close to me, I'm just racked with fear, and then I want to punch them in the face.
That was Sally Wiggin.
She's mean.
She's not mean. She's
like
respectful.
Good mean.
Oh, she's bad. Sally's bad.
She's tough.
Sally's bad. So we got to get her. So Sally moves on. She's got one more hurdle to pass. Then she is in the big show. She should have started on the big show. I don't know what we were thinking. We missed out. But you know what? Cream always rises. So we're very excited about Sally Wiggin moving on. So stick around to the end of tonight's show. You'll find out what the next overnight poll is, which is also going to be a doozy. But Dave, we're not going to stop doing the in-show polls, are we?
No, we are not, and this one has high relevance to some of our guests and conversations tonight. Let's do it, huh?
Okay, let's do it, but let's just do it. Let's do it.
You want to do it? I'm ready to do it.
I'm not going to do it. I was just going to say, we've got, coming up on the show tonight, we've got Erin Hart, and then we have Sharon Eberson's going to be here. Just letting you guys know what's coming and where this ties in. Dave, take it.
The temperature's going to rise. Let's do it. 2 of theatrical legends of Pittsburgh status, Rob Marshall versus Billy Porter. Rob Marshall, director extraordinaire, Chicago dancing jazz hands versus Billy Porter, the man with laser beam eyeballs. Who will win in this Jagoff? It's up to you to decide.
That was good. Laser beam eyeballs, jazz hands. I love it. So we've got 2 Pittsburgh theater icons that have gone over to champion everything that they've touched. We're talking films, we're talking television, we're talking everything you can imagine, everything in between. Rob Marshall versus Billy Porter. Where do you stand? All right. You've got Emmys, you've got lots of other things. You've got Tonys between them. Get to voting right now. If you're on Facebook, you can see it right down at the bottom of the thing. The voting is live. You have exactly 1 hour, well, actually 45 minutes to start voting to see who moves on. The winner of tonight will face the winner of tomorrow on Friday, with a shot the following week to move into the big bracket poll where the prices and scores can really change. So get on that, folks. Get voting. So like I said before, we've got a great show lined up for you tonight. Erin Hart's going to be here talking about some local farmers markets and do a little roundup with that. We haven't gotten our new logo yet. And later on in the show, a little bit later, we have Sharon Eberson. She's going to be talking about all things theater and what she's up to. I'm really excited about tonight's show. We're going to have lots of fun and surprises along the way. So let's just get started right now. Let's bring out Erin Hart from Farm to Table and see what's going on.
Hi.
Hey, Erin, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
It's all right. You're inside this week.
Yeah. Well, last week was kind of a disaster. So I figured I should stay in where it's more controlled.
Okay. Well, I thought it was great. The sun went down. We got you in early this time just in case.
Right.
So what is new in the world of the farmers markets and all things farm to table?
More and more farms are going with these online ordering systems. Harvest Valley Farms is now taking pre-orders, and all the markets that they go to, they will bring your order. So I think that's something to really seek out. So if no matter where you live, there's going to be a market nearby. There's probably 30 farmers markets in Allegheny County. So look up to see who the vendors are at your market. And you might even have to go and talk to some people. Some farmers come to markets once a month. Some come every week. Some come every other week. So go a couple times, because this is leading into the winter and next spring, when we're still going to be dealing with COVID and we're still going to be dealing with supply chain issues. I think locking down your local food early is the time to do that, heading into the fall. So think about going to the markets. I think it's very safe to go to the markets. Everybody's wearing a mask and you're outside. Mm-hmm. As we know, they're putting tables in front of vendors. So some of them are 2 tables deep. No one's touching the food like they usually did. So it's a really nice and easy, casual way to go, meet and talk to farmers. I like to also go to the farm stores. That's what I've been doing every week. I'll go out to Simmons or Trax or Sorgel's or Bednar's and just buy, a whole bunch of stuff, because I'll have an hour where I can run out and go do that. It might not be between 4 and 7 or 11 and 1, when the farmers markets are. So that's another alternative. And it, just having fresh corn in the summer and tomatoes. I mean, that's all that's happening now. This is prime time for local food.
And what are you hearing from the other farmers markets? Have you made it downtown, or have you talked to somebody who's been downtown?
Yeah, it's slow. They said it's slow. So I wasn't there, but I talked to some vendors. So vendors, if you do events, which I know Eileen's familiar with it, vendors are never happy. So if you're running an event and you talk to someone about how was everything, usually they're pretty conservative. And
Erin, is anyone ever really happy?
No.
Is everybody this was amazing? No, it's everyone's just yeah, it could be better.
It's true. And I'm a people pleaser. So it always it destroys my soul.
You're in a tough world.
Time.
You're in a tough business.
Yeah, because events are very hard to please people. So
yeah, it's impossible.
So these are the events. So if you like events and you miss events as a consumer, farmers markets, there's an event every week at each market, and there's a lot of people working behind the scenes at the events. They're they're doing things that they've talked about doing for years. updating things, communicating better. You have to go on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram. Most of the farmers markets are communicating via Facebook. So that's the best place to get new information about what each one is doing.
And the online ordering things is taking off. Like people are,
Yeah.
that's what people are moving to.
It's very popular.
I mean, that's appealing. That's appealing to me.
I know. Yeah, it's convenient because then you could just go on. Well, so I have a CSA and I order extra from them. So today was my CSA day and I picked up, I ordered an extra watermelon. So I ordered 2 watermelons and I can add in like eggs every week. So I'm online ordering local food all the time because I'm already like a customer of these different places. So I just, they send you an email and then you get on the list. So then, it's not always convenient, but I think like subscribing to the farm so that you're like guaranteed a delivery and it's up to you to go in and customize it. And that's an option too.
And
it helps because then you're more like, as a customer, you're more satisfied.
yeah, and once you're in the system, it seems like it's easy to add on to it, do more things.
Exactly.
That's awesome. Okay, great. So what should people look for this weekend coming up?
Fresh Fest. Fresh Fest is Saturday. So Fresh Fest is its third year. It's a beer festival, the first and only Black beer festival in the United States. So it's based here in Pittsburgh. The Drinking Partners podcast puts it together, and they have. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
So there's collaborations with breweries. There's Black brewers that contribute content. This year, there's different channels through an app.
It's awesome.
There's the app is Freshest and
Digifest, Fresh Fest Digifest this year. It's awesome.
Yeah, so it's Saturday. So I'll be down there helping one of the cooks. Jackie Page is doing a cooking demo.
I think Jackie's watching with us tonight.
Oh,
how's
good.
It going, Jackie?
Yeah.
How's it going, Jackie?
So I went down there and picked up to Love Rocks Cafe today for lunch.
That's awesome.
So I picked up some shrimp and grits so I could do a little photo shoot. And I had some jalapeno pineapple mead paired right before my 2:30 phone call. It was
That's
really
perfect.
nice.
You can't go wrong. We're at Alone Together Pittsburgh is actually one of the sponsors of Fresh Fest this year too.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
it's great.
We're excited. And speaking of that, now we might as well plug it. So Friday, Dave Bracey is going to be with us doing his regular segment, but he's going to be talking. The bulk of it is going to be about Fresh Fest, which is coming in the next hour. And Byron Nash is going to be here. Who is one of the beers with Helltown is named after Byron. He's got his own beer. He's going to play some music for us, and he's going to talk about what's going on. So Friday is going to be kind of a big Fresh Fest night here on Alone Together Pittsburgh. So be sure to tune in. Erin, if there's nothing else, thank you so much.
Seeing you guys.
All right, well, hopefully we'll see you a week from today.
That sounds good. Yeah, I'll be online.
All right, great. Thanks, Erin.
Have a good night.
Thank you. And you can check out all the stuff we were talking about. There's links to all these different things and everything that Erin was talking about over here to the side. I don't know which side the comments are on. They're probably below for you at home. So anyway, that's awesome. Erin will be here this Wednesday. And like I said before, we've got a great week of shows lining up tomorrow. We got Action Pack. We got people from River Life are going to be here tomorrow talking about Party at the Pier. Friday, Natalie Besavenga has a fantastic guest coming out for her 5 minutes with. Abby Fudor is going to be here on Thursday talking about what's going on with the arcade comedy theater. And Kate Romaine's going to be here with her new segment, What Kate Ate. That's Thursday. So we'll have a logo with the actual name of her thing tomorrow, but we love that Black Radish ad. Pete is the best in the business at coming up with those graphics on the fly. So anyway, now I think would be a good time to check in. Dave, what's going on with the polls, with the in-show voting? Has anyone voted yet?
Oh, they're voting, baby, and it is hot. It's a hot one as usual. Looking at the live polls, looks like Billy Porter is kicking Rob Marshall's proverbial theatrical behind, 80% to 20%. So
no, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. Billy Porter is an icon, right? I mean, he's shot to start, but Rob Marshall, I mean, he came up a similar way. Laser beam eyes. Rob Marshall, Taylor Alderdice, Billy Porter, Kappa. We're talking like the real deal. Rob Marshall came up as it was a dancer, hurt his back in, I believe, Cats, and came back as a choreographer and a director, got a couple of Tony nominations, and then went on to basically every musical from Into the Woods to Chicago that's been made recently. He did one of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. He directed the one with, I believe, the guy that played Swedgen. I can't remember his name.
I
right
heard
now.
he never got to play Snoopy, though. He always wanted to play Snoopy, and You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. That's one thing. It's one of his biggest regrets.
The one that
Fun
got away.
fact.
Well, I'll tell you what. Okay, Rob Marshall. I know you're watching tonight, so if you wanted to play Snoopy, we're actually gonna do a live streaming version of Snoopy. You can play Snoopy here on Alone Together Pittsburgh, whether you win tonight or not. And Billy Porter. Hi, Billy. So, because I'm sure both of those guys are totally watching the show right now. Anyway, that said, before I bring out our next guest, I thought it would be a great time, Dave, to tell everybody about another sponsor we have called Red Star Roasters. Red Star Roasters, if you go to redstarroasters.com, they're the only bird-friendly local coffee roaster in town. And if you go to redstarroasters.com and use the coupon code TOGETHERPGH, you'll receive 10% off your order. And as an added bonus, there is free shipping in the Pittsburgh area if you live inside the 412 area code. They'll deliver it to you free. They'll waive the shipping fee. They'll bring it to your door. All masks and gloves. You can't go wrong with this coffee. redstarroasters.com. So, moving on, I think it's time to bring out our next guest. I'm really excited to have her back here. This is her second time with us. It's been probably 10 weeks since we saw her here before. She is the touchstone of all things theater, a killer journalist, just left her position at the Post-Gazette, and we're really excited to have her with us, Sharon Eberson.
Hey, Patrick, how you doing?
Hey, thanks for being here tonight, Sharon. How are you?
Good, as good as we all can be in this crazy world right now. So
yeah, I mean, it's been a while since we had you on here last. It's like I feel like the world's changed a million times.
It definitely feels that way.
So what's happening with you? What's going on? There's some new things.
Yeah, so after 40 years, it was 40 years on March 30th. I decided to leave the Post-Gazette. I went through a lot to make that decision. It still seems so bizarre when things happen and I don't have a place to run to write about it or tell a platform for it. It really seems strange, but it was time to move on to my life's work, as Chuck Noll might say. I felt like as theater was in a position to have to reinvent itself and then go through a restoration at 63, for me, it was that time too. I had been to New York in January at Broadway Con. When you volunteer to do something and then someone says, sure, go ahead and do it. I had suggested a panel on the future of arts journalism for Broadway Con, which is about 5,000 people show up and cosplay, and the folks from Hamilton will come and every other show on Broadway. And they gave me a slot for a panel, and 55 people, critics and writers from all over the country came, and Canada. And we talked about our profession and where it was headed and what to do next. And there were no answers. And I felt like maybe this is the perfect time to be thinking about these things while, like I said, theater is slowly figuring things out and reinventing itself in this bizarre new world. So, right. I pushed that button.
Well, all right. Well, that must have been terrifying and also liberating at the same time.
Yeah, both those things.
You mentioned before. You mentioned Chuck Noll. You started out as a sports writer.
I was the first woman in sports at a newspaper in Pittsburgh, but I started out in New York. I was the managing editor of Action Sports Hockey. I worked with a writer named Stan Fischler. We did a bunch of books together, and we worked for the New York Islanders. when before they won their 4 Stanley Cups. You know, Denny Poffin had just come when I came to Pittsburgh. And
Okay.
when I came to Pittsburgh, the Penguins were being padlocked out of the arena. It was the DeBartolo years, you know. It was a strange time to come from New York to that. But yes, that's how I
The
got my.
DeBartolo years carried into the first cup, though.
Yeah, well, quite, yeah, but not the 80s. Let me tell
Oh
you.
no, definitely not. No,
1980.
no.
I
Okay.
came pre-Mario, so yeah, that'll tell you.
Were the jerseys blue?
No,
Not anymore. Okay.
no, they were not blue. No.
All right. Okay.
The first time I came to Pittsburgh, I was a teenager who was a member of the New York Rangers fan club, and the Penguins had a similar fan club, and we traveled. And my first trip to Toronto, Montreal, Pittsburgh was as a member of the Rangers fan club. So that'll tell you. And I still have scrapbooks. Not from a Rangers when they didn't win the cup till '94, as most hockey fans will tell you, but like from the Knicks championship years in the '70s. I was that kid. I kept scrapbooks.
And when did you make the shift from sports into the arts?
Well, the arts was always there. I'd studied some. Stage design. I had a minor in art, and I always continued to do some design work, even as page designer. And my first interview, celebrity interview in college, was with Raul Julia backstage at Dracula. Heart Beats Faster, and.
It's the best.
It was always in the back of my mind that I wanted to get back into that. And then as Pittsburghers who were here in the 90s might remember, there were 2 major newspapers downtown, and the Post-Gazette was a smaller one. We were in this building owned by the Press, which was owned by Scripps Howard. The Teamsters struck them, and that put us on the sidelines also. And I had just had a baby, my baby Josh Axelrod, who's now working for the Post-Gazette.
That's right. We got to have him back on the show.
Yeah. Yes, he's a legacy. There are a few legacies there, actually, still. Hopefully he'll still be working in the next few weeks, but I'm not so sure. So we can talk about that in a minute.
Yeah, all right. Yeah.
So we were out of work for 8 months. I had a baby, and I'd worked nights and Sundays for 13 years and in sports. And I wanted to do some editing, and I eventually became the Sunday magazine editor when we had a tabloid called the Gazette. And then even when we went to broadsheet, and then I became arts and entertainment editor, and on and on and on. So yeah, it was when the paper was totally rearranging itself when it came back that I asked to make the switch, and I was allowed to do that.
That's awesome. Well, that's cool. I'm personally glad you did. But yeah. So okay. So you were writing about the arts. Theater's a passion. All right. So you left the Post-Gazette. When was your last article that came out? Well,
my last article was last Tuesday. I left July 17th was my official last day.
Okay. So July 17th.
And I had written an article about. First, I wrote an article about some of my favorite interviews over the years with celebs. I love that. Which was a blast. And I saved the audio from all of them. I have. If you were an octogenarian, there was this year when I interviewed you. So it was Hal Prince, William Shatner, and Mel Brooks. And I have the audio from all of them.
That's amazing.
And it's just, yeah, my heart, the Mel Brooks one is still to this day the most amazing interview because I brought up one of my favorite Mel Brooks movies, which is not everybody's. It's called The 12 Chairs. Okay. And it's based on a Russian folk tale. It's darker than a lot of his satires and stuff. And and he wanted to get me to read more Gogol, and he started Gogol, Gogol, Gogol. You know how to spell it, right? This is what you do. And he laid out my reading material for the next year.
I love that. I just love that so much because you talk about throwbacks. I mean, Mel Brooks is still with us, obviously, thank God. But if you keep hearing these stories that things that a lot of different, obviously recently there's been a lot in the paper. And but you hear these stories about him like taking an interest, or people coming up asking him a question, and then I read something like a journal, like somebody loved the TV show that he did with Sid Charisse in 1951, and they talked about it, and then all of a sudden Mel Brooks called his father 3 weeks later to talk to him about it, and said we figured out the answer to that, and it's this, like those kind of like personal touches. I mean, that doesn't happen anymore. I mean, and he's still doing it. I hope they remake I hope they make a sequel to Spaceballs. They were talking about it.
I was talking about him the other day with friends because, when I want to go to a good place, I watch a movie that puts me in there. So I watched My Favorite Year, which was co-written by Pittsburgher Norman Steinberg, who worked on Blazing Saddles with Mel Brooks. And that's how my life goes. It drives my son Josh crazy. But I can't just watch something and watch an actor. I have to go, 6 deep into his life. So that's
awesome.
That's how my head works. So.
This is why you're good at what you do. This is why it's fascinating. So okay, so all right. So you had your best of interviews. Unfortunately, I wasn't on it. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
If you look, there wasn't a single Pittsburgher there. Well, I shouldn't say that. I mean, there were Pittsburghers.
You did well. You did very well. I was joking. I did not. I was seriously joking. No. What I was going to do is, so you've got to be itching. You've had your finger on the pulse for so long. It's still there without an outlet. Has anything popped off since July? Since mid July, the last couple of weeks, has anything been happening in Pittsburgh in the theater world?
Well, what's been freaking me out is watching the world and Pittsburgh specifically figure out how to come back and how to come back live and in person. And just today, the New York Times had a story about this production of Godspell in the Berkshires that is supposed to be the first equity approved production. And Equity did approve it, but the state of Massachusetts did not. It was not allowed to go on indoors. So now they're trying to put it together outdoors, and it's already, affecting it. But before that, actually, the very last story that appeared with my byline on it in the Post-Gazette was about this very thing. A theater in Salt Lake City came back. Again, these aren't with equity approvals, but they immediately had 2 cast members test positive for COVID, and they shut down the production, and they're coming back this week. It happened in Houston. It happened in Dallas. So I've been watching this with great interest. In the UK, they had an indoor production. They're waiting now to see, what comes of that. Andrew Lloyd Webber has been a big advocate of coming back indoors. But if I were covering this nationally, I would be looking at Greensburg right now.
Yeah.
Stage Right in Greensburg on July 24th had 92 campers work on a production. According to the Facebook post, and I had a little back and forth with Anthony Marino, who runs Stage Right with his wife and family. Evidently the campers and their families quarantined for 4 weeks during this time. And there's some really cool videos of them practicing masked and in the streets dance routines. But they held an outdoor production in Hempfield Park. And I can't tell from the pictures I've seen, and I really do. I wish I could, I should just call Tony and ask about, how many people showed up, obviously families, all who had quarantined, but how they sat. It's an amphitheater called the Smale Auto Group Amphitheater in Hempfield Park. And they did this, and we haven't heard anything about it, there being any problems. And they're continuing to have their camps. There was one live video that I found a little disturbing. You can go to their website for Stage Right and see that they are mostly masked, but social distancing, not so much, under a tent. But again, these are people who have been quarantining. Maybe they found the right formula.
Yeah. I mean, maybe they did. I don't know if
Yeah,
it's worth the risk.
I know.
I gotta be honest, and I hope that nobody gets
I
sick. But
know.
I don't think it is worth it for a summer camp, for a Broadway show, or for anything else. It's not. It's. I believe that there's so much importance to live theater for me. I mean, it's my life. But I'm telling you right now, no, I to put kids in that position just makes me uncomfortable.
I mean, looking
It's a
at the
big risk.
Rockettes have already called off their Christmas spectacular. They're not ready to deal with it. And even though it was outdoors, even though they did all this quarantining, yeah, it's kids. I don't know.
It's kids, and honestly, I think well, this goes into a whole topic that's going to come up with when certain kids that are going back to school. You think I mean, kids, you're going to have a kid coming in with a Spider-Man mask, and he's going to come home with a Harry Potter mask because he's going to share it with his friend.
Right.
Like there's like they're kids, and they're going to move their masks down. They're going to do different things. That's one thing, but like, okay, school, that's an issue, right? That's a big issue. But to put on a theater camp in the summer, to put 100 kids together with faculty, with teachers, dancers, choreographers across the board, designers, I know it's outside. It just feels doesn't feel right to me. I don't know. But maybe I'm taking this whole thing more seriously than other people. So I don't know.
I believe that. Now, I spent 24 hours with Stage Right at the Palace Theater when they broke the Guinness World Record for the fastest musical.
Awesome.
They are a community. They're an amazing. It's an amazing organization. When I talked to the Greater Pittsburgh Arts Council about who was pivoting the best, they brought up Stage right away with how they were doing education online. They did a lot of online work right away. So, I don't want to be critical, just saying that it scares me. I don't.
No, I get it. They're a great group.
Yeah.
And Anthony, everybody's great. I mean, I'm not saying anything about it. I know about that. It's just, I just feel like, especially this summer, and especially during the time when things are peaking, and with, I don't know. I mean, hopefully, when was the performance?
July 24th.
July 24th. So we're still in it. So we don't know. So we got another week here.
Anyway, if I were a reporter, I would be following the hell out of them right now.
Oh my God!
See them in 2 weeks from now and find out. And I'm so excited you're having Abby on from Arcade Comedy because they've just announced that they're going to do shows and classes in an outdoor space. It's called the Trust Oasis on 7th, which is an art space. It's a very cool space. I don't know how they're going to distance. I don't know that it's any different than outdoor dining, frankly, and it's going to really hold very few people where they are. So please ask all the questions. The other one that's already announced that they are coming back is Pittsburgh Playwrights Theater Company. They're coming back indoors in a new space. Now they have, I think, a pretty decent HVAC system, but I don't know. And Mark Clayton Suther's idea is that they're going to do, and this is spaced out over a year, but starting in October, solo shows with 20 to 25 people. I don't know exactly how that will work. And they will film those performances and put together a show that will then, I guess they'll charge for it online. I'm happy.
Yeah, I'm happy to see it. Well, I mean, hopefully, we were going to have Mark on when he was going to announce this a couple weeks ago, and then he wasn't. I mean, obviously, the world changes every 10 seconds, so they pulled the trigger on it recently too. So we'll have Mark on to ask a bunch of questions. If you want to chime in, Sharon, if you're bored. If you want to come in, if you want to come in, I'll have you here. You'll be my ringer.
Anytime you want. I'll have better lighting next time.
Okay,
Sorry,
that's totally fine.
Lighting. That's
good. Totally fine. You were here for the pre-show where I spent 20 minutes trying to change one click on my little camera light on my laptop. So I want to talk to you more about theater, but I just want to segue real quick with if you can fill us in with what I mean. I know you left the Post-Gazette. But there's a lot going on there. What's happening at the PG?
So this is nothing new. On August 10th, they will count up a strike vote of the newsroom. And in the meantime, there has already been a decision by the mailers to hold a strike. The mailers are the guys who stuff the papers, put them together as they come off. You know, they'll put inserts in. So and these are the guys who put the advertising inserts in. It's only 30 union guys left in that, and they've already voted to strike. I don't know what effect that will have on things. But what happened was the company declared an impasse, which means that they're saying they're going to throw the contract that exists, that they've been negotiating for almost 4 years, out the window, and that they could do whatever they want. And they announced a whole new set of how they want to run the paper without any negotiation with the union involved. So, I don't know the legality of declaring an impasse while you have a whole bunch of unfair labor practices, you know, in litigation, but I'm just going to say that that's what they did.
Okay.
And it's a really hard thing. In the middle of the pandemic, they're telling people that you have to accept our rules the way we have decided they should be, or go on strike and lose your paycheck and your health care, which they could take away at any time according to these new rules, in the middle of a pandemic. So it's a very, very hard decision for my colleagues and who are so hardworking.
I know.
We're Pulitzer Prize winners and Pulitzer Prize finalists last year also. I feel a little bit like I left in the middle of a fight, but if there's a picket line, I'll be on it beside my colleagues. So,
right. Yeah, it's hard. I mean, and it's been getting worse. You know what I mean? Every day that's another thing for the news cycle. But anyway, thank you for still doing that. Thanks for shedding some light on that. So okay. So I want to there's more theater stuff. Before we get into more questions for you, I want to ask you a question. I want to bring this home. Can I put you on the spot? Who are you going to vote for? Rob Marshall or Billy Porter?
That's a real. By the way, Billy went to Alderdice also when Kappa was an after-school program, but eventually,
Sorry.
So no, that's okay.
No, I'm sorry.
I actually,
I was just trying to throw some shine to different
while
schools.
I was trying to decide what I was going to do, I texted Billy Porter and we talked. I had a long conversation with him about life in general. He's that kind of guy.
I love him.
Rob has always been there for the Post-Gazette when he's had, I think the last time I spoke to him was for Mary Poppins Returns. But if I'm being honest, it's Billy all the way.
Billy, yeah, I was going to say,
Just got, and it's some of that's personal. He just got his second Emmy nomination. He
earned it.
Besides earning it, I mean, he is such a groundbreaking guy. And it came to him so late in life. Kinky Boots didn't come to him until he was in his 40s. He just turned 50. And he's doing something that one of the things about leaving the Post-Gazette is that I am free to speak up for whichever candidate I want. I can say, speak my mind about things that I've wanted to for a long time. And Billy supported the HEROES Act, and rallying people to rally Congress for the arts is something that I so believe in. And so I'm sort of I feel like I'm constantly in contact with him because he's so out there pushing for getting out the vote and supporting the HEROES Act that he's my guy right now. And
I love Billy. I don't get me wrong. The funny thing is, I mean, I haven't talked to Billy in a while since he's skyrocketed. You know what I mean? But one of the last times we hung out at length, we were at a function at Bakery Square. We were sitting on some steps, literally outside of this regular event, and we were just talking, and he was like, Patrick, Kinky Boots. And I'm like, all right, but he was like, no, this is going to change everything. He was like, kinky boots. We're going to Chicago, and in 3 months, we're going to go to Chicago, and I'm just telling you, this is going to be it. I'm like, okay, buddy, all right, buddy, all right, yeah, this is great, whatever. And sure enough, friends of mine in Chicago went to see Kinky Boots, and they were like, your friend Billy's fucking amazing. And I was like, just wait, like this is it, because he's never changed, which is amazing. The world caught up to Billy Porter. I think, and he's still kind of ahead of the game. That's what's amazing about him. I'm so proud of him.
Directing at Huntington Stages, he's been winning awards. I mean, he can't. Everything he touches is golden right now. So, so he's my guy right now.
He's you know what? He's my guy too, but only because I've never met Rob Marshall too. But I met his sister. I met Kathleen Marshall, but I've never spent any time with him. But he was close with a mentor of mine, Mario Melodia. And Mario was one of Rob's mentors as well. So Rob, we kind of like, you know, Eileen's grandmother, when Rob Marshall was up for an Oscar, she was like, we're all pulling for little Robbie Marshall, like, because everyone like kind of like knew him when he was a kid from that sect. But yeah, so Billy Porter. Okay, great. All right. So what's coming up for you? What's going on? What's the segue? What are you doing?
Yeah, that's a good question. When I left, and I talked about reinvention, and a lot of it was how could I grasp the moment, and what did I want to do with it? Besides get my house together to sell. So if anyone's interested.
Okay, it's a hell of a house.
Need to downsize. But anyway, but all of that said, it was like there's so much happening. I've been thinking about this a lot, and I've been using the word ally a lot since even before the Black Lives Matter movement. I did some panels during the Me Too movement, which hopefully all of these things are ongoing rather than back, but I did that back then because, again, I was the first woman in sports at the Post-Gazette, and I was an early female presence in the locker room, even in New York, although it was a bigger group. And the things you experience just doing that, and the things you accept hearing because you think you're proving yourself. It's not the same, obviously, as the Black Lives Matter movement or the LGBTQ plus struggles over the years. But I felt such an affinity, and you know, it's like, why haven't I been this ally all this time? And what does that mean? And how can I carry that forward? And what can I do with that? And one of the things that I've been talking to a lot of people about, and I don't know what form this is going to take in the future, but one of the things I've been talking about is I express myself through language. Obviously, words matter to me, and I believe words are as important as actions sometimes, especially these days. And I've been watching things happen online where well-meaning people fall into a pothole because they don't have the language. And things that I might think are innocent, I can see how they offend other people eventually. And this is something that I've been thinking about a lot and talking to people about a lot. And when John Lewis died, he had, I'm going to read this because
please do. Yeah,
it's just a short quote, but one of the things for his call to action was to answer the highest calling of your art, and that's when you can truly stand up for what you believe. And my art is words. And so I've been talking to people about what the language of solidarity is, if you want to be an ally for diversity and equity in the arts. And that's something that it took me a long time to focus on what it was I wanted to do, but that's what I want to do. I want to talk to people about the language of solidarity. I have sat in on so many webinars lately where they talk about your emotional state as a white woman talking to a Black woman, or how to self-evaluate your inner biases. And all of those things I think maybe are important, but how we talk, what we say to each other at this time, I think is really important. Who says it, how we say it, those are things that I think really matter. And the focus and the way I'm going to frame it is the language of solidarity, to be an ally for diversity and equity in the arts. And I'm going to have these conversations. I am going to find a place to put them, whether or not they result in panels. I've been having a few meetings in my backyard with individuals, social distancing and with masks on. And maybe we'll expand that a little bit just to start. But this is something that I feel really strongly about, and it's given me a purpose again. And that's where I'm headed. And hopefully there'll be a few people who want to come along with me when I do. So.
Well, I think you're headed in the right direction. Honestly, that's amazing. And I'm anything I can do to help along the way.
We'll talk.
Like literally, I'm here for you. And honestly, I mean, I say this all the time, and I didn't get a chance to, but thank you for fighting to get theater and the arts in general, but definitely theater in the Post-Gazette for the last however, like many forever years. It doesn't go unnoticed, and it hasn't. And I've talked to other theater companies in town, and everybody knows. No one knows the lengths of what you went to. I don't even know but I just want you to know that we're aware, and we want to thank you for keeping us and giving us a voice for all these years. So thank you, Sharon, for everything. But meanwhile, while we've been talking, Terry Johns has been chiming in on the thing here. She saw Rob Marshall in Cats, and she's also seen Billy in absolutely everything, going back to Chicago, at Pittsburgh, at Playhouse, right, and his one-man show off Broadway at a show he directed in Las Vegas.
Get a supercar, yeah.
So she wins. Okay. But yeah. So all right. So would you like to stick around for the results of the Billy Porter versus Rob Marshall?
First, I want to say hi to Becca Ackner, who is chiming in, and Patty Knapp, and all the theater people who are listening. That's fun too. And yes, absolutely.
Okay. Before I do that, is there anything you want to say that you haven't had a chance to say, or that might have got edited out of your like your farewell articles or whatever to the theater community in Pittsburgh?
I think I say this all the time online, hopefully, but to me, if anyone thinks of me as a part of the theater community, that is such a privilege and such an honor, and I never take it for granted. Pittsburgh is a theater town. There's no two ways about it. From our schools to the diversity of theater here is amazing. And anything I can do to advocate for, to herald it, to be part of getting the word out and making it a place that people know about. Again, I think of that as a privilege. And I think Pittsburghers don't even realize how people nationally see us. Like I said, I was in Broadway Con in January. The minute you say you're from Pittsburgh, Billy Porter, Carnegie Mellon, it's Renee Elise Goldsberry. It opens doors to the arts in ways that, specifically theater, that you maybe people here in Pittsburgh take for granted. And if I can be a part of people knowing what they have and wanting to hold on to it as much as I do, then like I said, that's my honor, and I'm going to continue to do that for as long as I can.
Well, I think the world of theater, especially Pittsburgh theater, is one big giant family, and whether you like it or not, you're part of this giant dysfunctional family. So you're both so you're screwed. You're one of us. So whether no matter where you're working, you can't get out of it now.
Yeah.
All right, so let me run to Dave Mansueto for the results of the in-show Little Jagoff poll. Brought to you by Engine House 25 Winery. Oh, wow. Okay, Billy Porter. Somebody voted for Rob Marshall. He got 13%. All right. So, Dave, are you muted, buddy, or should I take this from here?
I'm here, but I think you guys got this one.
So apparently, what Dave would say now, he has lasers in his eyeballs.
Through those glasses.
Oh, those glasses. Well, I mean, Pete picked the picture. I was thinking Pete should find a more fabulous photo, but he went with the more subdued. I think because it matched Rob Marshall's look in the picture. Mm-hmm. But he has 48 hours to come up with another picture because Billy Porter will be in the contest again this Friday against the winner of tomorrow night's poll. So everyone will have to stay tuned for that and tune back in. Oh, yeah. Well, there's a little bit more Met Gala.
That's from the Met Gala when he was declared by Vogue to be the best entrance ever in the history of the Met Gala. He came as a sun god, which he is, so that's okay.
Yeah, he can get away with that shit.
Yeah.
Goddamn Billy Porter. He's that. I mean, do you remember he did like Ghetto Superstar at City Theater before he went to the public in New York.
Top Dog Underdog. I mean,
Top Dog Underdog.
Amazing things that
they put in the one thing about Top Dog Underdog at City Theater that they put in a musical number, which did he sang "I Feel Good" for about 5.5 minutes. While he took off all the clothes, like where he
I don't remember it being that long, but okay.
Oh, I remember everything. I have sick recall for theater.
Yeah.
But you see more than I do, though. So you've had to go to more.
I see lots of music.
Yeah. Okay.
You don't see.
Let's see. That's it. That's where the riff is. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I remember he played Booth. And he had just robbed a lot of stuff. So he had like 35 shirts, jackets, 3 belts or whatever. Mm-hmm. So he sang "I Feel Good" and took off each article of clothing. And it stopped the show. Like literally, like Billy sings in Pittsburgh. It's like it just stops traffic. But anyway, so I just brought up a show from 15 years ago, maybe longer.
And now he's on the new Twilight Zone series by Jordan Peele. So he's come a long way.
Yeah, so let's just stop patting Billy Porter on the back because he really needs our adulations right now because of all the people. But we'll try to get him on the show, Sharon.
Okay. Well, let me bring up one more thing then.
Oh yeah, please do.
Off the Record, Pittsburgh. Which would have had its 20th year at the Byam Theater this year, is going to head online. Mm-hmm. And we have some celebs already lined up. One of whom you may mention, one of whom not. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. And that's it. First, watch for it online. First, Thursday in October.
Yeah, Carl Kurlander was on here a little bit ago. He was talking about it. So
it's a go, and we've raised over $600,000 for the food bank, thousands of dollars in college scholarships too. And we didn't. And of all the years, we had to not let it go by this year. You couldn't. Can't leave it for that. But we're not going to call this our 20th year. I think it's going to be like 19. 2.0 or something like that.
If there's anything we can do to help,
we will call on you.
Okay, that's great. Okay, good stuff. All right, well, Sharon, thank you for everything. Thanks for being with us and talking with us, and thanks for everything you're doing, and good luck with everything in the future.
Thanks. Be in touch. Take care, Patrick.
Thank you for everything, Sharon. Sharon Eberson, everybody. So I don't say it lightly. She has done more than for theater in this town than people are probably likely to realize. We're going to keep things rolling here by pretty much bringing the show to a little end here. We've come to the end of the hour, but we can't leave the show without a couple of things. We got to let you guys know what the overnight poll is going to be. Pete,
What's up?
You're looking kind of freaky.
Sorry, I got bumped out of my normal spot, so I'm out on the front porch. It's actually a beautiful night to chill out here. So,
Do you like ever like inflate your dinghy and just sit in it in the house, like to get loose, like to get used to it? Maybe with or without your 70-pound backpack. Was it really 70 pounds?
it really was. Well, so what happened was I put like all my gear in it. Like, so we hiked up.
Did you have pots and pans, some cast iron skillets?
No,
did you have a
but I
tent?
had-
Did you have a tent?
Well,
Did you have a tent in the bag?
Chris, and we had two of the dinghies and two of the paddles, and then our life preservers, and then water and other things.
You said they were like junior miss size life preservers. What was it like junior? Like junior?
Yeah, I was wearing a adult extra small. He was wearing an adult medium.
Okay, all right. Real quick before we
Here
go
we
on
go.
and bring out the thing, let's just see this one more time, Dave.
This
All
is
right,
a different one. This is the one where I made it.
You made it. Okay. Are you leaning forward? Because I mean, you look so. I mean, like a mountain man. I mean, that is impressive.
You should
Pete.
talk about the warnings you got, Pete, while you were doing what you were doing.
Look at the smile on Pete's face. He's so happy. He was like, I cleared it. I cleared that rock. Look at him. Look at that smile.
So Slippery Rock Creek, the guy I went with, and if you watch the paddle,
Isn't it slippy?
I believe it's slippery. It's
you're
the
right,
only
you're
thing
right.
that's slippery in Western Pennsylvania. No, I guess that river's pretty dangerous. A gentleman I went with, who was our guide the second day, said that he saw 2 people die last year on it. So,
Oh shit, Pete. Now I can't make any jokes. All right. So thanks for that. Hey, Dave, what's the overnight poll?
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for another jag off? This is the thing that never ends. It keeps on going. It keeps on going. This is the thing that never ends. It keeps on going. It keeps on blowing your mind. It's Andrew Carnegie versus the Imp and Iron combo drink. 2 things never should be in a bar together. That's Andrew Carnegie and beer, if you know what I'm saying. Andrew Carnegie versus the Imp and Iron. That's whiskey and beer, if you don't know.
Imperial and Iron City. A shot. That music should be playing while Pete's riding these rapids.
We should do that, yeah.
So the class. Yeah, I'm sure you'd want us to do that. So the classic Pittsburgh drink, Imp and Iron, the Imperial and Iron City versus the man himself. The reason that a lot of us are here, Andrew Carnegie, was kind of a dick, and then like later in life gave a lot of money away. So there's more to Andrew Carnegie than that. But that's for the sake of this. That's how we go. All right, folks. So is there anything else you wanted to talk about, Pete?
I was going to say people should pick up their tickets to the Fresh Fest DigiFest. If you go to the link that we posted on Facebook, you can get your tickets there.
It kicks off on Saturday.
It kicks off on Saturday. I think if you still go to the website, I think Beverage to You, but is sold out. But I think if you go to Tavor, and I believe Carson Street Deli and a few other places have the collaboration 8-packs that are available. So I ordered one last week. I was able to get it before they sold out on Beverage to You.
They deliver it to you.
Yeah, they'll deliver it to me. Hopefully I'll get it by Saturday. And
Is it too late to get delivery now, Pete? Like if I delivered right now, if I ordered it right now, would they bring it to me?
I think if you get Tavor, maybe, but I think also if you go to Carson Street Deli, and there are Save on Beer and a few other places around Pittsburgh that have the 8-packs available.
Okay, Pete, I hate to interrupt you, but
I know you don't go anywhere.
No. I was gonna say, Fat Mandy herself has chimed in on the show, and she was a winner of last week. Was it last week or the week before? Like the in-show showdown.
2 weeks.
2 weeks ago. So she's got. It might. I mean, it could potentially be Mandy versus Billy Porter. I mean, this could happen. These are showdowns that could be in the future. They're in the same bracket. It's a crazy world with Pittsburgh royalty.
A jagoff like that should only be settled in person.
I think you're right.
Virtually.
A showdown. Wow. I don't think Mandy's into that, but maybe she is. I don't know.
Maybe we get it both on the show.
Okay. All right. Well, let's just see how it goes. I mean, I don't know. I mean, honestly, guys, I don't think we're going anywhere. I think we're going to be here for a little while.
I'm going places, Patrick.
You going rafting?
I'm going rafting. Oh,
Are you,
yeah.
why don't you take that dinghy to the wave pool? They
I
have
think we should
they have
do
they
the
have
show
big
on
they
the
have big they
river.
have bigger rapids.
Let's do the show on the river. Dave and I want to do the show on the river.
From the point.
What a crazy time for Dave to lose his audio.
Well, I
He's there.
slipped. I slipped. I'm here.
Hey guys,
I got a
seriously,
button.
how do I
got a
sound?
button.
I know Gina Mungo thought I sounded like I was from Boston all of a sudden. Is there Boston in this microphone?
Well, you did mispronounce Sally Wiggins' name. So.
It's Sally Wiggin.
Exactly. You pronounce it wrong. So maybe that's the accent.
Sally
she's
Wiggin.
hearing?
Sally Wiggin.
Sally Wiggins. Sally
There's
Wiggins.
no S.
In Pittsburgh, there is.
In Pittsburgh, there might be, but that doesn't make it
Where
right.
are you really from, Patrick?
Where am I really from?
Why don't you go back to where you came from?
Wow. Wow, that's messed up because I have the grammar to pronounce someone's name correctly. This is a human being, Pete. You're being very insensitive to a human being. I mean, one thing is saying Imp and Arn is one thing. Stillers is another thing. You know, Arn City, you know, Jag-off, get down, at, all of that. Look, Mandy thinks whatever. You know, Mandy, you don't know where I'm from. You don't know where I'm from.
That's not even Allegheny County.
Mandy's gonna
Yeah,
join
actually
us
it
on
is.
the river. That's gonna be.
Yeah, it actually is Allegheny County, but anyway,
Dave, we have enough dinghies, I believe, right?
We got it. We got so many dinghies. This show is rich with dinghies.
Well, I'm here with two of them right now. So,
Next
well,
week,
anyway,
we're gonna go out on the river.
So anyway, I think tonight's show was great. Tomorrow night's show is going to be fantastic. Like I said, it's going to be hot. It's going to be a hot show tomorrow. President of River Life is going to be here. Arcade Comedy Theater is going to be here, and Kate Romaine with What Kate Ate. And don't dare, you will not want to miss 5 Minutes with Natalie Besavenga on Friday. It might even potentially go 6. It might be 6 minutes with. We might give her that extra minute there. Yeah, check it out. We got a great week this week, and next week's starting to look great too. So keep it tuned in here every Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at 8 o'clock. And don't forget that Engine House 25 Winery, if you mention Alone Together Pittsburgh, you get $5 off a bottle of fantastic wine. And Red Start Roasters, Together PGH is the coupon code for 10% off and free delivery. So if there's anything else, I just want to remind you guys, Dave, just to do a quick rundown about people wearing their masks and keeping social distancing. What would Bane say?
No one cared who I was till I put on the mask.
No one cared who you are till you put on the mask. Then you become respectful. What would Batman say?
Wear a mask.
I'm not afraid to be seen standing up to these guys.
The mask's not for you. It's to protect the people you care about.
That's right. I'm not afraid to stand up to these guys and show my freedom. No. Gives you your freedom. It takes care of you and your family. I mean, even Bruce Springsteen.
Put on a fucking mask.
Simple and to the point.
Put on a fucking mask.
Bruce
Wait,
Springsteen,
what?
the boss.
Put on a fucking mask.
Is
Wait,
that a rescue puppy?
what'd you say, Bruce?
Put on a...
Okay, I got you. But at the end of the day, go ahead.
No.
I was going to say at the end of the day, at the end of the day, Sally Wiggins, all that matters.
When I walk out and there's someone without a mask and they come too close to me, I'm just racked with fear, and then I want to punch them in the face.
She sums it up for everybody. Everybody stay safe. Take care of each other. We love you. And tune in tomorrow, 8 o'clock. Remember, we're Alone Together Pittsburgh. See you then.